I recently did a video where I reviewed the Metabones Mark V adapter for my A7 III. Now, I found out the hard way that the Metabones Mark V is a little more intended for photographers than for videographers. The autofocus continuous was essentially non-existent. So I ended up returning that mount, and a lot of you out there recommended I pick up the Sigma MC-11, which is what I have here. So that's going from an E mount from a Sony A7 III to EF, which is a Canon mount. Now, what I found out was with Sigma lenses, it retains full autofocus continuous, full autofocus for photographers. It also retains in-body stabilization. So these things are all huge, and even more so is the price. This thing originally is $250. Right now there's a manufacturer's rebate. This thing is $150 online. That's absolutely mind-blowing. The Metabones Mark V is $400. So keep that price difference in mind as we go. I have no idea when that rebate ends, by the way. So if you're interested, right now is an awesome time to pick one of these up. So let's get into the review a little bit. As I mentioned with the Mark V, I found out the hard way that is more of a photographer's lens. It was very fast and accurate with, half pressing the shutter. If you were taking photos, super fast. Autofocus continuous, like going around someone was in video, was just non-existent. Autofocus continuous with good performance is possible, albeit photo mode only and not during video recording. So that's really what I was looking for out of this Sigma adapter. Now, I threw on this 18-35 1.8 art lens and was very, very happy with the performance. The autofocus continuous is absolutely on point. It's fast, it's accurate, it holds focus really well. Yeah, honestly, I was super, super happy with it. That being said, after trying it with this lens, I did throw on a couple of my Canon lenses. So this one is a 16-35L. I also have a 24-105L and stuff. And it doesn't work, man. It just doesn't work. So I threw it on there hoping for that continuous autofocus, and continuous autofocus is just, there's nothing. It does nothing at all. For photography, when you half press the shutter, it will work. You do get autofocus, but it hunts for focus quite a bit before finding it. So it's not very fast. It's honestly not very accurate. I would say that if you have only Canon brand EF lenses, the Metabones is going to be more beneficial for you, at least in photography. The nice thing about any of these adapters though is that they're smart adapters. You can still use these lenses, right? I can still mount this lens onto this body, use manual focus, but still have control over my aperture in this lens and all that stuff. So I think that's a big deal. But anyways, I ended up putting this away because it was pretty useless. Threw this Sigma lens back on, and the one thing that I was worried about is how front heavy this is. This mount does not have like a tripod adapter on the bottom here. The Metabones Mark V does. So when I was flying this on a gimbal or something, I could mount it right here, and you can obviously see that's a lot closer to the center of gravity than mounting right here. This thing just wants to fall forward. So I was a little worried if it would work out on a gimbal. I mounted this thing up to my DJI Ronin M, and to my surprise, it was totally fine. I did mount it on the very furthest back plate, so the plate was like all the way to here, and the screw was in the back portion of that plate. But it was great. The gimbal handled it super well. The autofocus allowed me to still have a shallow depth of field while using that gimbal. I went around someone who was in a static position and it held focus on them well. We also did a couple more tests where I was, so camera's here, I'm here, and we're walking like this. It kept focus on me the whole time. At one point, I stopped moving, camera kept going, it held focus. Then the camera stopped, I walked towards camera and it held focus. Another time when we started focus like on a wall, and I came out from behind that wall, and it did focus to me. I think it hit the background first, so it focused to the background, and then once it picked up with me, it caught me. So it did what it was supposed to. I think we just had it set on a small center frame autofocus, and it must just hit the background first. So I don't think that's the mount or the lens's fault. It's just something we would have to choreograph better in the future. So overall, very, very happy with the performance of autofocus on this Sigma lens. There was one sort of con to it. There is motor noise you're gonna pick up in autofocus. So when it's kind of searching for focus, when it's changing focal planes, you will hear a little bit. We did a little test. I threw on a Video Mic Pro on top of this and I just let it run. I did it completely in a silent room when it's changing focal planes. I'm not sure if you can hear it, if you can pick it up on the mic, but I could definitely hear it, you know, in person. In addition, I also did it while talking to camera, and I think that it did fine for that. So basically what I found was the noise comes when it's changing focal planes, right? So if you're just holding this thing up and you're talking to camera, I'm the same distance from this camera the whole time, you're not gonna get motor noise that way. So it's totally fine for vlogging. If, however, you know, you're filming someone talking and then you're moving this way to someone else talking and someone else talking and you wanna stay in autofocus, you're gonna pick up noise at that point. So I definitely recommend having an external mic for situations like those. But, you know, for vloggers and stuff like that where you're gonna be the same distance from the camera, I don't think noise is a problem at all. So to wrap it up, I'm really happy with this MC-11 as long as I'm using a Sigma lens. Using these Canon EF lenses, I'm happy with the fact that I can use them. I can manually adjust you know, the aperture and stuff like that, but I'm gonna have to be on manual focus whenever I use one of these lenses. So just keep that in mind. Again, if you're a photographer looking for fast, quick, accurate autofocus, the Metabones is definitely the way to go. If you're a photographer using Sigma lenses, or if you're a videographer and you know Sigma lenses is something you either have or are looking to in the future, the MC-11 is absolutely the way to go. So, and I mean, that's not even considering price-wise. This thing is less than half the price of that Metabones right now. So definitely pick one up, as I mentioned. I've got a link down in the description below to the Amazon page if you want to check it out. As I mentioned, I have no idea how long this rebate's lasting. They're not sponsoring this video or anything. Like, they have no idea I'm doing this video, so it's totally unbiased, I promise you that. So, anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful. Let me know your ideas down in the comments below on what mounts you like, what lenses, stuff like that. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope it helped out. We'll see you next time on Greenlight Live.